pull up this story we got here from Timcast.com. Gaetz, McCarthy reportedly texted Republican who voted against him, quote, "I am ready to fund an endless war." Now, the first thing I think when I see that is, come on, man, no way. Like, that's such a like, I hereby announce I am guilty kind of statement. You know what I mean? McCarthy apparently said, here, look at, Gaetz said, McCarthy is losing it. He texted one of my colleagues who didn't vote for him, quote, "I am ready to fund an endless war." I'm assuming this is in addition to Ukraine. But I wonder if what McCarthy was basically saying was, I'm so pissed off at these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they want to come at me. I'm ready to fund an endless war because these people oppose it.
Isn't that what they already have been doing for
decades?
since 2001?
Before that, I imagine.
And the war machine hasn't really stopped. It's been getting financed a lot. A lot of money has been printed. A lot of money has been devalued in order to fill up the coffers of the military-industrial complex. So his threat is kind of empty there because they're already doing it.
You know what I love, too? Apparently, when Boebert, Gaetz, and the rest were, like, leaving the meeting, like, recently, they came out, I can't remember who said it, might have been Boebert, that opposition to McCarthy actually increased. And that's what I love to hear. My attitude is like, if you come to me and I say, all right, look, I'll vote for you. Here are the things that I need. And you say no, I'll say, well, I'm not going to vote for you. Then if you threaten me, I'll be like, well, now I'm going to go advocate people vote against you. Then you threaten me again, I'll be like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you don't win. I think that's where Matt Gaetz is basically at. Like, McCarthy spits in his face. You know what I mean?
Could Matt Gaetz run, or could someone nominate him?
Yeah, but no one has. I don't know. I think the point is that he's saying it's like, it's a matter of principle. It's not about him. It's about getting rid of McCarthy. You know, this is one of the most promising things, but let me show you this tweet from Charlie Kirk. Rep. Ro Khanna, he's a Democrat, says he's open to a coalition government with the right. Republican as speaker with 2 conditions. No government shutdowns over debt ceiling, limiting subpoena power of the GOP. And there it is. What are the chances that happens? That I actually think might happen. They go to Kevin McCarthy and they say, we will get you the 5 votes that you need to win, but no subpoena power for the GOP. And McCarthy will say, deal.
Well,
no investigations, no accountability.
What is that? Trading, that's like bribe. Is that a form of bribery?
It's what they do all day, every day in Congress.
It's called politics. It's also
Scary,
interesting
man.
to see AOC kind of meet with a lot of the Republican leadership.
Has she?
There's been a lot of conversations that they've been having, that they've been documented having, and a lot of people are talking about a proposal that the two might actually come to an agreement with, and it's pretty much compromises. And Kevin McCarthy is really good on compromises, but the base hates the compromises, because I think it's fair to say that the Republicans have compromised a lot. The Democrats don't really compromise that much. They really essentially get to their way, and the Republicans kind of back them off just a little bit, just enough, just to make a little difference, just so they look a little different. But in reality, I think it's plausible. I think there's a possibility that Kevin McCarthy could make a deal with the Democrats in a way that could, of course, benefit the establishment. And
good. So what? That's my attitude. So what? Make them show you who they are. Make Kevin McCarthy show you that he is with the Democrats. There you go. Most people think he already is, but make him show every single person. Just get that, because there's no point in just giving in. I'm seeing so many people be like, "Oh no, if Kevin McCarthy doesn't win, you're going to get a never Trumper or a Democrat," and I'm like, "Isn't Kevin McCarthy a never Trumper Democrat?" Like I don't know the difference between what he represents and what, like, he was nominated by Liz Cheney. Okay. I don't see it. I really don't. He's been pandering for the past couple of months, but apparently the Freedom Caucus people made proposals that were not unreasonable. And he was just like, no, I don't need your votes. And then apparently they've come to him and asked for concessions, and he's like, no. And now apparently the talking point is that he's claiming that, or what they're claiming is, Gaetz and others wanted guarantees to be on committees or something like that. And I'm just like, I don't care. I don't like Kevin McCarthy. There's no reason for me to ever support anybody like him. I just don't care. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to laugh every time he loses. Mm-hmm. Now going on 6 losses. Going on 7. Seven's coming up soon.
Right now. Yeah.
There you go. He's going to have to go to the Democrats and beg. And then I want the entirety of the old school Republican Party to be like, why is he negotiating with Democrats? See how he does.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what happens? You think that Kevin McCarthy is actually going to empower any of these people to do anything legitimate? No. I'm surprised people are actually saying that.
You think there's any hope for, like, I mean, now that I know who Ron Paul is, I know who Rand Paul is, but there's any hope for, like, these independents, these independents, these dissenters, like, in my opinion, where we are now, it's 100% grown. The fact that I'm here and we're all here and we're chatting, like none of us, in my opinion, I don't know your histories, but we don't seem radical in any direction. And the fact that that has grown, it's never existed. You know, before it was like all I remember is Ralph Nader. That's the only person I remember my whole life growing up. That's the only name that rung a bell for Green Party.
How old are you?
Something. 29.
There's Ross Perot.
So I don't know who that is.
Perot.
But I was never into anything.
He ran against Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
Okay.
92.
And they say that he split the vote, allowing Bill Clinton to win. That basically it was Bush, Perot, and Clinton, and then you got moderates and Republicans split between Perot and Bush.
So it's been a significant enough percentage.
Yes.
Yeah, Perot came in. He was like, "Let me tell you something," and he'd have like a big. No, that was Jim Carrey, but I think he was like an economist. It was.
What
kind
was
of
the percentage of this specific election?
Oh, I don't know. You want to pull it up?
I'm curious.
The vote. You only need like 1%.
Right, to make an impact.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And so what I heard was that he was a business guy and he was attractive politically to more moderate individuals, and then Clinton wins.
He won over 19.7 million votes for 18.9% share of the popular vote.
Wow.
And then apparently George Bush Sr. lost, and they blamed that. And then
What was the other percentage? What was it for Clinton?
let me see if I can. I'm gonna have to look into that.
This is the most
Just look up
significant Green
It was
Party.
1992, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
92.
92. So that's when I was born. You said you were 29. So
29.
we're
93.
like, yeah, we're like right on the edge.
This is the most significant Green Party vote of all time,
I
or
got
no?
it, Tim.
This guy, or no? You have no idea. This is the most significant Green Party vote. Or
Ross Perot. He ran independent.
so this is the most
Look at this.
significant independent party.
Yeah, third party.
Teddy
Third
Roosevelt
party.
won as an independent in
I didn't even know that.
08 or something. The
Here,
Bull
pull this up.
Moose Party was what he called it. Yeah, here it is.
43% for Bill Clinton. If Perot did not win, I don't think Clinton could have won.
I don't think he would have.
He probably would have done better because obviously some Democrats did vote for Perot, but Perot likely was as an independent got more Republicans.
But I'm looking at the electoral votes, which really is all that matters. The popular vote's not really relevant.
You think independents
That's
are
true.
ever?
That's true.
I know this is not a conspiracy, driven.
No,
show
but
at times.
it's not. But think about this. In let's grab a random state. Let's say I don't know, Iowa.
Right.
Bill Clinton wins because George W. Bush didn't get enough votes to win
Right.
Iowa because Ross Perot got a portion of it.
Yeah.
So it matters.
So do Democrats send in a Ross Perot in these scenarios? Like, does that exist? Is that possible? It's not. Of course, it's
Trump
possible.
was their Pied Piper candidate.
He
They
was a
said in
Democrat.
2016 that support Pied Piper candidates like Donald Trump and others so that people go and support him and they can't win. And then Trump won.
Just
And
to
I
think-
think that's one of the reasons Hillary was so mad. She's the one who was trying to prop him up.
Right.
They tried the same strategy again in 2020. And it like half worked.
Right.
The Democrats were funding the messaging of Trump Republicans, hoping that it would spike the election and force Democrats to win.
Yeah.
It maybe worked in some place. I think ballot harvesting was the real trick.
Like, I'm friends. You know who Spike Cohen is, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Okay, I didn't know that. So I'm friendly with Spike Cohen, and perfect example. Like, he's not some agent sent in to take away votes from whatever. But like, historically, it's totally possible to be like, hey, like, we know you're not going to win, and we know you're more conservative, and like, people leaning right or more on the fence, left, they don't really care. So we're going to pull away votes from one party significantly. That's possible, 100%.
I think it's probably why they
the only
intentionally
reason.
don't give media attention to a lot of third, fourth, fifth party candidates. I really like saying third party candidates because that only implies there's only going to be three. There's should be lots and lots of political parties, but I think there are lots of the media is afraid that if new candidates get in, that stuff will get all split up and you'll have another Abraham Lincoln.
Because they're always leaning a certain way. You know what I mean? Me and my fiance, we always talk about like you could be libertarian, like, which is what I always called myself that, and she's like, you're just scared to call yourself conservative. But in general, my point is like, someone leans a certain way, like a libertarian who leans left, or someone who leans right. So eventually, someone's gonna pick when it comes to a certain topic, no matter what. They're gonna be more liberal or more conservative. There's no such thing as I'm more of the middle. You pick on every single subject, even if you are in my opinion, being more of the middle is you are a la carte. You're not just like an establishment person who votes regardless, no matter what. You're like, hey, I think this with abortion, and this with 2A, and this with blah blah blah. And that's how most people at this table are. Is like, hey, like, we pick a la carte, and like what makes sense versus like, I was told I have to vote this way every single time, no matter
definitely.
what. You know what I mean? So it's like,
we talked about the value of taking R&D off the tickets, so you don't know what party you're voting for.
My fiance said the
But
same thing.
Then you'd be voting for names, and people change their name like
Right.
Buzz Lightyear,
and they could
like
lie and be like, this.
Lightning Storm and stuff.
Of course,
John Democrat.
Yeah.
we could
Bill
plop someone
Republican.
in when we now decide this is what they like. Let's put someone here. So you're right. It's,
I mean, that strategy would still work right now.
Right.
It's just not easy to change your name. It actually is quite difficult.
Maybe you could say
I
you
was
can't-
watching Nathan For You. You guys ever watch Nathan For
Love
You?
him.
He did that thing where it's like he was trying to get a guy to change his name, and you have to like announce it in a newspaper for 3 weeks. So he made a fake newspaper. It was pretty clever. I guess it worked, But it's not easy to change your name.
You could do that and then just force them to use their name from back in the day, but then you get into dead naming, and I don't know how that culturally plays these days.
Ross Perot ran again in 96. He got 8% of the vote, and Bob Dole lost. Bob Dole.
I loved Ross
Bob
Perot.
Dole,
I really
okay.
wanted Ross Perot. He seemed like he was going to do good stuff for the U.S. I don't know. I was a kid. I was like 12 when he ran, but
Okay.
it was nice to see someone talk about something other than politics and like,
Right,
I'm
in
going to do
politics,
this. I'm going to
in
do that. He was like,
politics.
if you can look at the economy, and he pulled out these charts while he was campaigning and like show people economics and stuff. It was
Okay.
really, really nice.
And this is the first time I heard this name, man. Whether I'm young or just an idiot, I don't know politics too much, but that's I would 100. He had Ross Perot. You got my vote.
Yeah, Ross. Apparently
Then you
Ross,
go into 2000, where Al Gore actually won the popular vote, lost the Electoral College.
that was a wild election year.
You guys obviously seen the Al Gore South Parks. That was like the
And
extent
then the
of my
two
you
distant
never in your whole
cousins.
life?
No, I
When
don't
I-
know. Oh,
Man, Bear, Pig.
Man, Bear, Pig.
Yeah.
That was the extent of my knowledge of Al Gore because I was so young. This was 2000. Everything was George Bush, 9/11, Iraq. Like I was a young kid. I'm like 10, not even 8, and like my extent was like South Park Al Gore. That was the
This
extent
is,
of.
I got to say, I just jumped to 2016. This is actually hilarious. Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes than Trump and lost. Too bad. Too bad, lady.
Thank God it's a republic.
Trump got, I think, something like 77,000 votes spread across 3 states, which got him enough electoral votes to win.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is allegedly the next ticket, potentially. Like people are saying this. People
Hillary
are saying,
Clinton
People
for-
are saying this is like extremely plausible. This
I don't think so.
What, Michelle Obama? I don't know who. Then who?
Yeah.
again? Michelle
I mean, it's a good point. Democrats don't have anybody, but I don't even think Trump's going to do it, to be honest.
You think it'll be DeSantis versus Michelle Obama? DeSantis
Maybe. I think Trump will go. Here's my prediction, and please bet against me because I'm probably wrong. But I'm just saying I think there's a decent probability what we end up seeing is Trump goes in the primary. Trump narrowly loses the primary, but then claps and cheers and says DeSantis is going to do a good job. I'm going to get behind him, and that's how Trump is winding things down. Because the things he's done have been very, very weak as of late. I am not convinced Trump is serious. Look at Trump 2016, calling Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, he's not doing any of that. And even his most ardent supporters said that his announcement speech was very weak.
But his endorsement, whoever he endorses, is going to make a huge impact on the election, no matter what.
Maybe.
I kind of like the idea that he runs against DeSantis and then graciously says DeSantis is the guy, and then he becomes a hero, like a lore hero with his fan base.
Everyone
forevermore.
wants that. Everyone wants first of all, a ticket together is never going to happen. I imagine every Republican wants a Trump DeSantis ticket. I don't think that's like a ridiculous ticket. It's guaranteed win.
It's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen.
You guys don't understand. Like you guys have seen what Trump's been up to within the last few years.
Right.
There's no way.
Here's what's gonna happen.
There's a lot of ego there. I don't see it.
Trump's going to start campaigning very heavily. And then just in early 2024, in the full swing of things, or I should say whatever point right before the RNC, when is RNC? Summer of 24, Trump will be walking down the street with some reporters when all of a sudden he hears yiping and yelping, and there's a burning building, and he says, "I hear puppies." And he's going to run in, and then he's going to run out covered in smoke and singed, carrying a box of puppies. He's going to put them down and say, "You're safe, little ones. But I'm too injured to run for president at this point. I have no choice to endorse Ron DeSantis because saving puppies at my sacrifice."
So that's a good
Something like
Do
that.
you think his VP choice can change your mind, Tim, or anyone's mind listening who maybe agrees?
You guys are drinking a lot of Kool-Aid. I just want to say this for a
You think I'm
fact.
serious?
Who's you guys? We have opposing opinions, right? I think Trump will run, and I think he potentially could win depending on his VP candidate. I think people bring up Tulsi Gabbard. They bring up a million possibilities. I know it's forget who I just said. My point is like that VP candidate can totally change an election.
I'm not completely. I'm not saying like. I'm at this point maybe like 80-20, 80% DeSantis, 20% Trump. There was a period, I went back and forth. Earlier in the year, last year, I was like, maybe DeSantis. Then I saw Trump wanted to fire everybody, and I was like, I'm leaning more Trump. Then people like Carl Benjamin from Lotus Eaters was like, Trump's got to finish his narrative arc. He's got to get back in. And then I was like, okay, I like that. And then people were like, and then you get DeSantis an opportunity for 8 more years or whatever, which is hard.
This is what I've heard, yeah.
Maybe not likely. It's like, that's a crazy thing to think, 12 years of Republicans or
Right.
whatever. But now we're at the point where like, Trump is endorsing McCarthy for one thing. Trump is selling NFTs, and I'm just like, this is not this guy. Look, in 2016 and 20, he was serious.
Right.
He's not serious anymore. I think he's an old man, and I mean that with all due respect. I think he's just thinking to himself, I have fought a very, very hard fight, and now I just don't think it's there anymore.
His daughter's out too.
He has a history though of getting in a lot of swamp monsters. So this is not his first swamp monster that he endorsed. So this is not odd. This is not totally different Trump here. This is the same Trump that put, of course, John Bolton in power, that put Fauci in power, that wanted Bill Gates as a science advisor. So this is not out of the norm. So it's not like, oh no, he's doing.
Being from Florida,
he didn't really change.
Obviously, I love what DeSantis did for. I think the only reason DeSantis got any sort of base, aside from Trump, endorsing and saying, "Hey, he's a good guy," was COVID and the way he handled Florida, and like life was good in Florida. And when I would go to D.C., they called police on me for eating at a restaurant. Like it was drastically different in every state. But you guys have heard everything. What's your opinion on the possibility that DeSantis is similar to a Bush? Is that possible? Is that possible at all? It's impossible.
Like he's a war hawk?
It's not.
Yeah, is that possible?
Impossible. I would say. Is it likely? No. But it's not yes or no. It's not black or white.
Right.
DeSantis will probably do some things that will piss people off. But I think he's already shown he's done a lot of things that have really, really inspired people. And he's been commended for. So he has done so well in Florida that Florida has like the highest rate of immigration into the state.
Right, 100%.
California's being drained.
Right.
I don't like judging the guy before I know him. But what about you, Luke? Judge him for me. What do you think about Ron DeSantis? Do you think he's a war hawk?
You have to be critical of everyone. You never put all your eggs in one basket. You never prop up any man above yourself. That's number one. So never give any politician a benefit of the doubt. So let him prove himself. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he says. Let's ask him some real questions. There are some bad people surrounding him, which we should be critical of. But he's in the dialogue. He's making big moves that, of course, are making national discussions, especially amongst wokeness, especially what's happening in schools, especially what's happening with the vaccines. Those conversations wouldn't happen if it wasn't for him. So therefore, overall, those conversations are good and a net positive.
Do you think
Donald Trump is not being a part of the conversations? He is selling NFTs, and he's not on Twitter. We had an argument here on this show before. I was like, Trump's not going to be on Twitter. You guys were screaming at me like, he's going to be on Twitter. I'm like, no, he's not.
That's not what I said. I said he has to be on Twitter.
He has to, but I said he there's a big chance he won't.
Sure.
And he hasn't been.
And that's why another reason I think he's retiring. He is not getting back into the fray.
I mean, if he was retiring, he wouldn't have been running to be president of the United States.
That's not true.
I just don't see it.
He can't just stop. He's got to wind things down. He's got to work out deals with the intelligence agencies after they raided his house. He has to negotiate something, and that is a transfer of power.
Yeah, I was just looking at my copy of Art of War last night, thinking about Donald Trump. Like, he's all about business dealings, lying, and then doing what you don't expect and all that stuff. He's really good. So he might pull I'm running,
and then he goes
Ron
in the
DeSantis.
primary. But then he goes in the primary. He generates a ton of attention and then directs that energy in somewhere else. Or endorsing Kevin McCarthy to me is an indicator that the deep state went to him and said, on your knees, or we come after your family. And he said, please spare me.
I mean, it could have been the same thing with Fauci. Could have been the same thing with that war criminal. What's his name? John Bolton. So
they raided his house, and he probably went, please, I just want it to stop. And they said, then endorse the deep state. And he says, anything you say, master.
Ooh.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.